Yo, what's good? It's your man 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Today, I wanted to do a video about the Golden State Warriors and why they are not only the team of the present, but they're also the team of the future. If you like this video, smash the like button for me. You know what to do. Hit subscribe, the bell for notifications. Help me out with them good algorithms. But let's dive into this. The Golden State Warriors are the champs. They're the best team in the NBA. They're probably one of the best, if not the best, ran organization. They have one of the top, I'd say, 5 players in the NBA. One of the greatest that we've ever seen, in Stephen Curry. They've got championship pedigree. They are a core that is finally healthy again. And they're still in their prime. This team is not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere for the next, I would say, at least 2 to 3 years. They will be in this prime championship window. But they're not just in this prime championship window right now, but they actually have probably one of the best young cores in the NBA. Now, I know it would seem a little far-fetched, debatable. I mean, you got teams like the New Orleans Pelicans. They got Zion, right? They got you guys like Jackson Hayes and Herb Jones, and Brandon Ingram is still really young, not even in his prime yet. And, they have a beautiful future as well. And you got other teams that are exciting and fun. The Cleveland Cavaliers, definitely with Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. But what you have here with the Golden State Warriors is you have a championship team who is now cultivating young guys to fit them into championship winning, right? There's a big difference between hoping guys are good enough to win a championship. That's where the Boston Celtics were, hoping that they're good enough, right? And they're a great team. The Boston Celtics, make no mistake about it, are a great team. But when they got there, do you really see this team fitting? I mean, the Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum trio, core, right? Do they really fit? Remember, most of the year, we were saying they need a true facilitator, right? And then they begin to shift things defensively and they begin to turn things around, but they never lost needing a true facilitator. Is that Marcus Smart? I don't know. But it's to say that even as close as they were they really going to beat Milwaukee if they had Chris Middleton? I don't think so. I don't think so. Right? Could they have beaten Brooklyn had Brooklyn been healthy all year and not been a play-in team and had been the number 1, number 2 seed like they were for most of the year before Durant went down? I don't know. I don't know. So it's to say that there's a big difference between a team that has a big question mark around its core than a team that is already stamped and approved for their core. The Golden State Warriors core right now is certified. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, certified All-Stars, Defensive Player of the Years, future Hall of Fame. And then their supporting cast. We know that it works. Kayvon Looney, Gary Payton II, Andrew Wiggins and his All-Star bid, and excellent playoff run. Right? You still got guys like Jordan Poole. You still got guys who came off the bench who played excellent minutes for them. And then you have their young core. I already mentioned Jordan Poole, but you still got guys like Moses Moody, who even in spurts, even in moments throughout these playoffs, even in the finals, when you just saw him, he looked like he belonged there. He looked like he belonged there. His length and his ability to defend on the perimeter, along with his three-point shooting and ability to get to the basket, was on full display. His ability to play out in transition was on full display. Playing without the ball, he fits. their championship pedigree. Then you got guys like Jonathan Kuminga, who's kind of a wild card. He's kind of like slotted into that Andrew Wiggins type role, where if he can really hone his defensive skills, he could become this guy who is an amazing two-way player. And I say amazing because the combination of his strength, athleticism, ability to score the ball and finish is absolutely elite. Is absolutely in a class with the best in the NBA. You're talking the Kawhis, the Paul George, the LeBron in terms of size, athleticism, and ability to score the ball. And then you still got young guys like James Wiseman, who really hasn't even scratched the surface. I mean, for some of you who have maybe given up on Wiseman, you have to understand, most of the NBA knows it takes 4 to 5 years for young big men to develop. The Karl Anthony Towns, the DeAndre Aytons of the league are rare. Rare does a big man come in and immediately hit the ground running and he's a starter and is able to contribute to winning. Even Ayton wasn't contributing to winning throughout the first, 2 years of his career. It's only been the last 2 that he's been winning, right? Karl Anthony Towns, can you really say he's been winning? One playoff appearance, but that was mostly Jimmy Butler, and he did not look good in that, where they got gentlemen swept, right, by the Houston Rockets. And then in this playoff run, okay, he looked a little bit better, but there was a lot left to be desired. And he's closer into his prime. James Wiseman is going to develop. The Golden State Warriors are going to make sure that they are not going to waste a number 2 pick and somebody of his talent when they can take their time. And if anything, what may end up happening is that because he's had a slow start, when he becomes a restricted free agent in a couple years, the Warriors may actually get top dollar, meaning that they may be able to sign him for far less of what his value is going to be for the next 4 to 5 years after he signs that contract. Remember, that was one of the great advantages the Golden State Warriors had with Stephen Curry. He had all those ankle injuries. They signed him for 5 years, $55 million, I think it was. And then all of a sudden he became an MVP. Signed for $11 million a year. Now, here's the thing. I don't think James Wiseman is going to become an MVP anytime soon. But it's to say that he has not even scratched the surface of what he will become. For those who actually follow basketball, not just the casuals, but those who follow understand how great of a talent he is. And so when we think about this team, the Golden State Warriors, the way they're set up incredibly, I don't even want to say well, they are set up incredibly exciting for the next maybe 5 to 10 years. Because they're already showing a commitment to re-signing guys, a commitment to making sure that they bring their guys back. They truly have an amazing organization at this point where they do so much quality work in-house. They don't really need to look outside. I mean, you have an Andrew Wiggins addition, but remember, Kayvon Looney drafted, right? Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green drafted, right? These are guys who are in their wheelhouse, already been in their wheelhouse of development. Jordan Poole, in the wheelhouse of development, right? And now you got this draft coming up. Don't be shocked if the Golden State Warriors keep both of their draft picks and just stash them into the G League. Because they have some holes that they're going to need to fill pretty soon, right? Gary Payton II and Kayvon Looney, I believe they're both free agents this year, along with Nemanja Bjelica, who played a valuable role for them in their championship run, right? There are holes that they can fill. But then there's also the long term. Now, I like guys like Juan Toscano Anderson as well, even though you still got to get that three-point shot. But I think that he can be a down-the-line guy where they sign him on the cheap like they did with Kayvon Looney and give him more time to develop his game until he's ready to really contribute. But if they go ahead and get themselves somebody in the draft, let's say in the first round, who can really facilitate the ball and be a lockdown defender like a Gary Payton II, they can give him time to develop a jump shot as well and come in. And when Gary Payton II's contract is up, right, you can slot him next to somebody like a Jordan Poole, right, who's not a natural facilitator. He can, but he's not a natural facilitator. He's very kind of Stephen Curry-esque in a lot of ways. Moses Moody is very Klay Thompson-esque, right? So you kind of have most of these spots getting already reinforced and solidified, but this draft is only going to give them another opportunity to go even further. And I think that's where you're going to see guys like Travion Williams come in when it comes to their second round pick. You're going to see guys potentially, I'm trying to think of the kid out of Kansas, who I don't think is going to go as high as a lot of people think. Because he's kind of a, I don't want to say a one-trick pony, but he's, 3 and D to the max, right? There's some other players in there as well that they might get to maybe strengthen their front court a little bit. But it's to say that they're going to have options. And so when you look at this team, as much as I would love to say like the Lakers are going to have an opportunity to retool, the Clippers will be back and healthy and they'll be as dangerous as ever. With Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. You're still going to have the Brooklyn Nets. Please don't count out the Brooklyn Nets because you're going to have a healthy Ben Simmons along with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving coming together. And I think another year of going through the fire together, which is really what it takes for teams to develop championship pedigree. I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to be just as dangerous as they were last season or this past season when they were healthy. They're going to be that number 1, 2, 3 seed in the East. Right? And they won't have to go through a play-in tournament, hopefully, if they're healthy. Right? And then Milwaukee's going to be back. Who knows how they're going to retool? They're going to re-sign Bobby Portis and hopefully solidify some more scoring on the wing and in the backcourt. Right? So these teams are still going to be here. The Denver Nuggets are going to come back with a healthy Nikola Jokic, 2-time MVP now, and then you're going to have Jamal Murray's return and even Michael Porter Jr.'s. But I don't think any of those teams are going to have the outlook that the Golden State Warriors have after winning a championship. Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, they're not going to have pressure anymore. They're going to be already certified that they were able to be a part of a championship team, that they were even brought in to a championship organization. You have to understand what it means to even be brought in as a free agent or a draft pick into a championship ran organization. There is clout that comes to that. That means guys see you as a winner, right? If you're drafted by the San Antonio Spurs or brought in by the San Antonio Spurs, we know you're a winner. For the most part, the Boston Celtics, they are considered winners, right? Even the Toronto Raptors, people love to get free agents and players from the Toronto Raptors because they're seen as winners, right? Because it's a winning organization, right? And so I'm fully expecting next year Moses Moody is going to have a great breakout year as a sophomore. Jonathan Kuminga is going to have a great breakout year as a sophomore. Right? Expect them to do even more small ball with Andrew Wiggins at the 4 or Jonathan Kuminga at the 4 and the 3. Kayvon Looney healthy, James Wiseman. Right? This team is going to be as deep as ever, which is only going to extend the careers of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. And if I'm honest with you, Draymond is probably the only piece that I'm really worried about them finding some support for, because his ability to not just be the heart and soul of the team in terms of energy, defensive intensity, focus, being locked in, he's also their best facilitator. He's also their best probably on ball. Well, actually, Wiggins might be a better on ball defender at this point, but Draymond Green is right there too. And he's their best team defender. Now, I know you got guys like Kayvon Looney, who's also been, admirable, but he's not a 30-minute-a-game guy. He's not a 35-minute-a-game guy. And so that's something that they are going to need to shore up. But outside of that, this team is set up nice. I see them making a run back next year, depending upon who they see in the finals. We'll see. But this team is set up for the present, for the future. This dynasty is going to keep rolling. And if they get another championship, oh my goodness, we're going to have to start looking at them how we look at the Bulls dynasties, how we start looking at those old Lakers, Celtics dynasties. Because right now I think they're on that San Antonio Spurs level dynasty, where they just had this long period of sustained winning and championships throughout. And so when you look at this team right now, I'm excited. I want to see what these young guys look like in Summer League. Moody, Kuminga, Wiseman, and then their draft picks. I want to see what they look like going into next season with all this depth. Hell of a lot of depth. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys really see any team coming up messing with the Golden State Warriors? Really challenging them? I think it might be a harder road to a championship next year. But like I said, they're going to be that much better next year with more depth. I wouldn't be shocked to see them rip off another 65 plus wins next year. So let me know what you guys think. Is there anyone really competing with them? Or is it their time for the next 2, 3, 4 seasons to just go ahead and rip off another 2, 3 championships? Let me know what y'all think. If you like the video, smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe, the bell for notifications. You know the drill. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.